More about the compound area assignment that I'm having you guys do this week, and this one is due on due on Tuesday. Okay, so this is due Tuesday the 11th. Okay, you got it today, so you have about 4 or 5 days to take time into this. Kind of gave you I alluded to this in the email last week, kind of asking your parents to make sure you have a tape measure or something in the house that you could use to measure your rooms. All right, so let's take a little bit of a look and talk about how the requirements. So I've got just the basic requirements, and these are on my GAC as well as the link to this video, so you can just go ahead and watch the video again to kind of walk through it. So I decided to take it down from 3 rooms to 2 rooms. So I'm going to have you measure 2 different rooms in your house, and really the only requirement that they need in a regular shape. I don't want no just rectangular rooms or just straight square rooms. I would like in a regular shape because we want to practice our compound area. Okay? When you do your measurements, you're going to round your measurements to the nearest inch. So I don't need any like 7 feet 8 1/4 inches. Okay, I don't want that deep. I do want 7 feet 8 inches or 7 feet in that respect. But here's how I want you to work that through. So, and I'll show you an example of how to do one of these on the next page in just a moment. But you're going to round your measurements to the nearest inch. So you could, and then it says you can either use a terminating decimal or a fraction for the measurement. So a terminating decimal would be like 1/4. So you get 3/12 or 6/12 or 9. That's not a 12. No. Starting to think about the next piece. 6/12 or 9/12. These all simplify to a terminating fraction, right? We've got 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4. Those are all terminating decimals, so you can put those in as, 0.25 feet or 0.5 feet or 0.75 feet. If you have a non-terminating decimal, so that's pretty much every other 12, 1/12, 2/12, 4/12, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11. Any of those are going to be, you need to use those as fractions for your measurement. Those have repeating decimals, so it makes it really, really hard to get an accurate measurement. So we're going to go ahead and leave those as fractions. So it's up to you. You can do it either way. Okay. A lot of rooms are probably going to be to the nearest inch anyways, so don't worry too much about that. So go ahead and kind of have that in the back of your head. So if you use fractions, stay in fractions. Okay. Don't. My pen disappeared. All right, there we go. Stay in fractions. Don't switch back and forth. Don't have decimals in one part and fractions in the other. Okay, so that you're able to do your work. There we go. Sorry, my pen died for me for a second. All right. So the next step, so after you measure it, you're going to draw the shape of your room, not shape of your room. Apologies. I'm not the best type. It's a shape of your room and label the dimensions. So whatever the shape is, it doesn't have to be to scale. It doesn't have to have any of those conversations. It just needs to be the same shape. Make it similar in shape to your actual space. I've got a couple examples, and then you're going to use that. Once you've got that, use the information and the dimensions to find the area of your room, whatever room it is. Now, couple little helpful hints, and you can take these as you like. You don't have to do the biggest room in your house. If you've got a bathroom that's in a regular shape, if you've got a hallway that's in a regular shape, those are perfectly fine to measure. If your dining room is a perfect square, then probably don't want to do it. And if all your rooms are perfect squares, go ahead and just tack on a closet, if that's what it takes to make an irregular shape. That way you follow the rules and don't worry about the all the different sizes. Just kind of get the best you can for that closet. That's fine. So I understand. Just kind of have those ideas in your head, and then I want those turned. Okay. So let me show you a couple of them. So if these are the 2 rooms I measure in my house, okay, as an example. I still can't write. But if these are the 2 rooms I measure in my house, let's say this one is, I'll type it, make it so I have nicer handwriting. If I say this one is 6 feet and then 4/12, so I'm going to turn that down to 1/3. 1/3 of it, 6 feet, 1/3, right over here on this side. I'm going to say, let's say this one is exactly 9 feet. All of these are going to be marked in feet. Let me put this on there. Put my label on there just so I don't get in trouble. Okay. This one, let's say this one is 10 feet. Let's go 9 feet. 9 feet. That's already 9 feet. Let's go 12 feet. Sorry. 12 feet. Over here is 10 and 2/3 feet. So that would have been 8 inches or 9 inches. Okay. or 8/12, sorry, 8/12. So that's 8/12 of inches. And then I come over here and say, okay, this last little space is 4 and, so I need 4 and 1/3. That's this tiny little space. And if I need to draw a little arrow to it, I'm going to do that just so that you can see it. Draw a little arrow to it so if I can't fit it. And then the last space is exactly 3 feet. So we're going to say that last one is 3 feet. Just happens to be, I'm making all this up, so then I'll do one with we'll do one with decimals next. So I've got these 3 things, so I'm gonna take this and cut it up just like we did in class. I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna grab my straight edge tool, and I'm gonna cut mine right here. I'm gonna change let's go with a bright yellow color. I can't miss that one. And I'm gonna cut it right here. All right, so I'm gonna find the area of this space. So I'm going, okay, well, I know this is 4 and 1/3. I know this is 9, so I'm going to come over and do the math on that. I don't know what happened to my pen that I no longer can't write with my screen, but I come over and do the math. 4 and 1/3 times 9. Okay, so apologies for the poor handwriting because I have to use my trackpad all of a sudden. 9, so we're going to by area equals 9. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn it right into 13/3, right? Because that's what I have to do to multiply a mixed number. Again, sorry about the horrible handwriting on this. And then I'm going to cross reduce because that actually does make my life way easier on this one. All right, 9 times that is 1 and 3. So 13, so this is 39 square feet. So that's my first shape. I'm going to do the same math on something like this on the next one. So if I come up here, I got a 12 foot by 6 1/3. It's not the world's biggest room. Pretty long, pretty narrow though at the same time. So I'm going to come over and do the same thing plus my second area, which is 12 times, again, I'm going to go ahead and just turn this right into an improper fraction. I'm going to turn it into 19/3. Again, I apologize for the poor handwriting. My normal plan doesn't work. So now I can cross reduce again to 1 and 4. All right. And then now 19 times 4, that is what, 76? Checking my math in my head, hold on. Yep, 76 square feet. And then I add those up, and that says my room is going to have a square footage of, let's see, 76 plus 39. So really I'm going to add 40, take away 1. So add 40 to that. 76 plus 40 is 116, take away 1 is 115 square feet. So I have a room of 115 square feet. And that's really what I'm looking for you guys to do, just to practice doing a little bit of measuring. Okay? And then do the math to prove just save your compound shapes. It doesn't have to be the world's best drawing. Just do your best to have that. Or if you have a hallway, you could do the same thing. If you choose to use decimals instead, because you end up having terminal decimals, you get this hallway is very long but very narrow. So we'll kind of have this in the background. We're going to say it's 8.5 feet. Okay, all your measurements are probably going to be in feet. And then you have typical hallway, let's say, is going to be about 40 inches, 42 inches. So we'll go, that's 3.5 feet. Okay, we got these little indents here. We're going to say they're just 3 feet. The length here, let's say this one's also 3 feet. Down here, and actually we'll make these a little bit smaller. Let's keep in the decimal line, 2.75 feet. We'll keep these in the same idea. We'll practice with all the decimals. So these are all 9 inches, okay? So that's 2 feet 9 inches, and then finally down here, you've got your last one, so together that's 4.5, so this is a 4 foot wide part of the hallway. And then you need the measurement over here. So we'll say the last little bit of measurement, it's a long hallway, so we'll say it's 11.25 feet. One of these things you'll notice is I'm putting labels on every single one of these because it's important on our drawings to have the labels so I know what you're measuring in. Now, instead of doing it with the fractions, I'm going to do it with decimals, and I'm going to get my answer worked out. I actually prefer fractions. I'll be perfectly honest. It lets me cross-reduce, but you can do it however you want. So you come over here, and you'll go ahead and just go, okay, well, I'm going to cut mine into 2 different spaces again, same like I just did a moment ago. There's my dimensional cut, so I'm going to say 3.5 by 8.5. I'm going to show my work 3.5 times 8.5. Again, I apologize for all the poor handwriting. I am trying to do it with a trackpad. Do the math. All right, so 5 times 5 is 5. Carry the 2. So that's 17. Drop the 0. 8 times 5 is 40. 0. Carry the 4. 8 times 3 is 24. 28. That's a really bad 2. Okay, that's really not any better. All right, add them up. That small section is 5, 7, so 29 and 7,500 square feet. That small section. And then you'll do the same thing with the 11.25 times 4. Okay, so even if you don't use the measurements, you could have done the measurements differently. You could have cut it in different places. So 11.25 times 4. Now be sure you're showing your work. You're plugging this into the formula, just like we did over here. Okay, so I'm just happen to quickly be doing the math. So 0, carry the 2, so 0, carry the 1. So 5. So this one happens to be 45 square feet. So you add 45 plus 29.75. The hallway is 69 and 7,500 square feet. Okay? And that's really all I want you to do. I want you to practice doing a little bit of measurement and seeing a real life application of this in your life. Okay? All right, so you're all set. If you have questions, feel free to email me. I'll be checking my email on both Sunday afternoon and Monday during the school day. Or, well, during my school day and your day off. All right, have a great day.